Hello to all viewers, both the patient and the impatient. Today's episode is about a very mysterious person, a prophet of the future, who signed all his visions with the tiny silhouette of a black spider. The black spider is a prophet about whom not much is known. It is not clear when and where he lived, although he is usually identified with an old Bavarian monk who lived at the end of the 16th century. This time period of the black spider is supported by his prophetic writings, which are arranged chronologically, starting from the early 17th century, and signaling the most important events for each period. The black spider's prophecies go as far as the year 3000. This year is described as the time of the star deluge, the prelude to the finale, which is to take place on June 7, 3017. As the black spider writes, "On that day the earth will collide with another earth. It will shake, reel like a drunkard, and break in two. And the glory and riches of the earthlings will dissolve into eternal space, leaving no trace behind." It should be noted here that the year 3000 is referred to as the end of the world not only by the black spider, but also by Nostradamus and many other prophets. Not only on YouTube, but also all over the internet, you can repeatedly come across the end of the world being predicted for the years 2000, 2012, 2017, 2019, and even 2025. Don't be fooled by this. No serious esoteric believes in it, because they know the eternal cycle in nature and the main principle of creation. For something to be created, it must first die, be destroyed, or perish. This cycle is stretched and varies in time for every biological creature on Earth and in the entire universe. It is nothing more than an amplitude. What is up must come down, and what is down must rise. These words say a lot. And so, since the world existed in full swing 4,000 years before the birth of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, it means that its degradation began at that time. 4,000 years, add our 2,000 years equals 6,000 years. When we look at the Bible, we learn that God created the world in 6 days and rested on the 7th day. We also read that one day with God is like 1,000 years on earth. The conclusion? 6,000 years ago, the 7th day ended, and since then, the world has been degrading at the same pace as it was created. 6,000 years of degradation, and it is now the year 2000. So, there are only 1,000 years of rest and peaceful living left after the first judgment of mankind. The year 3000 will mark the end of the period of degradation, and this fits in perfectly with all the major prophecies. As the black spider claims, everything will come as a liberation, putting an end to years of drought and blinding light that will transform man into a wandering animal. Black Spider saw this era of despair in the mirror in the ancient heavens, and these are his words. "It is abundantly clear that the end of the world will be preceded by deadly environmental degradation. It will poison a human who absorbs it through a painful and long assimilation process that will trigger a true genetic transformation. Humans will be completely changed and unlike themselves in the past. The end for humans will be marked by madness and silence, the inability to communicate, and loneliness." For the black spider, the end of the 20th century is marked by the destruction of the temple, that is, the destruction of the Christian church. The Antichrist, whom the black spider calls the Black Prince, who he believes was born in 1966, began his activities at the age of 30 in 1996. He will offer people a deceitful and alluring ethic. Rejoice until you are drunk, and you will be happy. Worship the prince, and you will be praised. Steal, and they will honor you. However, the most astonishing thing about the prophecies of the black spider is that the prince of hell and his court will take up residence in the Vatican. He will feast in the shadow of the Great Dome, and thousands of worms, probably priests, will worship his hand, blessing and wreaking destruction on the church. One can draw the bold conclusion that there is a close relationship between the Antichrist and the Pope. This is not a new hypothesis. Many apocalyptic texts, and even Marian messages in this century, starting with the Fatima messages, clearly point to a similar threat. However, the black spider is more inclined to subordinate the Pope to the Antichrist than to actually join forces with him. The prophet claims that in 1997, Peter will be held captive by the old wolf, guarded by daggers. He will therefore be more of a hostage than an ally of the Black Prince. And the seeds of the latter's word will sprout, while the rightful shepherd will lose all power over his flock. The natural order of things will be destroyed, The shepherd will feed on the bitter grass of the meadows, and the sheep will sit at the table, in front of bottles of wine and cheese. And at night, they won't have to return to the pen because the shepherd won't have a dog to herd them there anymore. There will be no more watchmen, but there will still be owners. The day of the fire glory is expected to take place at the beginning of the 21st century. On this day, a lightning war will suddenly break out, which will be deceptively similar to the end of the world predicted for the year 3000. However, it will not be the end of the world, but a cleansing before the day of solemn peace. A majestic peace, without borders, without horizons. Doesn't it fit the seventh day of rest? The trial will be terrible, so fast that people will not even have time to raise their eyes to the sky. It will be as fleeting as lightning. People will have the impression that everything is already over, that it will not return, that everything is irretrievably lost. They will cling powerlessly to the stick that was once Peter's boat. They will push towards the sea, into which they will plunge into the fiery abyss. The era will end in flames. However, a handful of people will remain who understand that the true meaning of life is to seek peace, not glory. They will be entrusted with the task of rebuilding a new era, with the mandate to eliminate anything that could distract people from their real needs in life.